Today in this 2017 Chevrolet Equinox, we'll be having a look at and showing you how to install the Roadmaster Universal High-Power Diode Wiring Kit, part number RM-154. Here's what our diodes look like installed. What's great about these diode kits is this will allow you to safely and legally flat tow your Equinox behind your motorhome without having to worry about attaching magnetic tow lights. These utilize what your vehicle already has in it from the factory, your existing light bulbs. The diodes will prevent any voltage from your motorhome from backfeeding into the vehicle's expensive lighting circuit, thus giving you the ability to treat your vehicle as a trailer, use your factory lights for your turn signals, your taillights, and your brake lights. But when you arrive at your destination, you don't have to worry about doing anything special to use the vehicle normally. Once it's unplugged, your factory lights will work as intended without any harm being done to the vehicle. Now that we've gone over some features, we'll show you how to get them installed. Now with our fascia off during our base plate install, we found this to be the best time to route the wiring for our lighting system. We just have it secured with a couple zip ties to the existing factory wiring loom, where it goes behind our headlight into our engine compartment. We ended up routing our wire from behind our headlight to the side of our battery, around our fuse box here, and then down behind our engine and transmission. This is where our wire comes down against our firewall. We zip tied it here to a wiring harness to keep it away from our steering shaft because this item does rotate. We zip tied it towards the back of the vehicle, following the brackets for the brake and fuel lines, making sure we zip tied it to the brackets and not one of the lines. We just keep doing this towards the back, working our way back. We go to the side of the fuel tank, comes up over our rear subframe. We have it zip tied to that, goes over the rear sway bar, and then we have it zip tied to this wiring harness above our exhaust. We can now remove our driver's side taillight assembly. Take a flathead screwdriver, it'll pop up on these covers. Behind we'll find our 10mm screws which secure our taillight in place. So we'll remove these screws, then we'll grab our taillight assembly and pull it back. We'll find one connector that we need to disconnect. We'll push in on this tab, pull back, and we'll set our taillight assembly aside. We went ahead and dropped down a pull wire behind our taillight, came out behind our bumper cover, and we taped our 4-pole flat wire to it. We already cut off the end of our connector here just so it'll fit through, plus we don't need it anymore anyway. Now we'll pull this up. As you can see, our wires are already separated a little bit. We'll go ahead and separate them the rest of the way behind our taillight housing. Now that we have all 4 of our wires separated down to where they come up from behind our taillight housing, we can take our green wire and we'll drop this back down. This will go to our passenger side later. Our white wire is a ground wire. We need to attach this to our vehicle's sheet metal. So we do have excess wire. We'll cut off the excess. So we'll strip off some insulation from this wire. Take our provided ring terminal, place it over the wire, and we'll crimp it down. Make sure it's secure. We'll use a provided self-tapping screw to attach this to our sheet metal. That'll give us a nice solid ground point. Now we have our headlights turned on, and we'll use a test light to determine which wire is for our tail light circuit. Okay, so it's this terminal here which corresponds to our brown wire. So we'll turn our headlights off now and we'll make our connection via this brown wire. Okay, so we'll cut our brown wire right in the middle, strip back insulation from both ends, we'll twist our wire nice and tight, and then we'll fold it back upon itself to make it twice the thickness Now we'll take two of our blue Spade connectors, place them onto our wires, and we'll crimp them into place. Take one of our diode packs. The output side, which is the one with the single connector, goes towards our connector on the vehicle. The other end of the wire will go to one of the inputs. Doesn't matter which one. Now we'll take our brown wire, measure off how much we're going to need, cut off the excess. We'll strip back the insulation, and we'll do the same on one end of our excess. We'll twist these two together, take our yellow Spade connector, place it on, and we'll crimp it down. We'll plug this into our other input side. And the excess wire that we attached, we will now drop down behind our taillight housing area. Now we have an assistant stepping on our brake pedal, and we're going to double check and see which wire is for our brake light. Okay, it's this far terminal here, which corresponds to our yellow wire. So we'll have them get off the brake pedal and we can make our connections. This will double as our brake light and turn signal since we're treating our vehicle as a trailer. So we'll cut it in the middle like we did the brown wire. Strip it back on both ends. We'll do the same like we did on the brown wire by twisting it and folding it back to make it thicker. This just makes it easier for it to bite onto our connector when we crimp it down because these are fairly thin wires. And we'll attach our blue connectors. We'll take our diode pack. Again, the output side always goes towards our connector. One of the inputs for the wire that we cut. Now we'll take our yellow wire, measure off how much we're going to need, cut off the excess, strip back some insulation, take one of our blue connectors, and we'll crimp it into place. Now we'll plug that into the other input of our diode pack. Now on the back of our diode packs, we have double-sided tape. We'll peel off the ends, and we will stick the two together. Now that all of our connections have been made on our driver's side, we can plug back in our tail light and reinstall it. Now we can remove our passenger side taillight assembly the same way that we did on our driver's side. Now our green wire and our brown wire that we dropped down from the driver's side, we routed through our back bumper beam using our pull wire. It goes all the way across, comes out the end, and then we use our pull wire to bring it up behind our taillight assembly like we did on the driver's side. And here's where our green and brown wire came up behind our taillight assembly. Now we have our headlights turned on. We'll use our test light to determine which wire is for our taillight circuit. Okay, it's this terminal here, which corresponds to our brown wire. So we'll turn our headlights off and make our connection. Cut our brown wire in the middle, strip back our insulation. And we'll do our twist and fold technique again, and we'll attach two of our blue Spade connectors. We only have blue ones left at this point. Take a diode pack, output towards the connector, other side towards one of the inputs. We'll cut off a little bit of the excess of our brown wire, strip back some insulation, attach our connector. That'll go to our other input side. Now we have someone stepping in the brake pedal again, so we can figure out which one is for our brake light. Okay, it's this terminal here at the very end, and that corresponds to our green and white wire. So we'll cut our green and white wire in the middle. Now we'll strip back insulation from both ends. Continue with our twist and fold technique. Crimp on our connector. Do the same for the other end. Grab our final diode pack. Output side towards our connector, other end to one of the inputs. We'll measure off how much of our green wire we're going to need. Cut off the excess, strip back the insulation, and we'll attach our final connector. And we'll plug that in to the last input side. Okay, we'll peel off our double-sided tape again. Now we'll stick the two together. Okay, now we can plug our taillight back in. I'll reinstall the taillight assembly. Okay, now we have our 4-pole lead that connects our vehicle plugged into a tester. You can also plug into the back of your motorhome to test your lights. Okay, we have our tail lights turned on right now. As you can see, those are working great on both sides. Now we'll do our left turn signal. And as you can see, that one's working too. We'll do our brake lights now. Both of our brake lights are working properly. Now we'll do our right turn signal. As you can see, all of our lights are working properly, and that completes our look at and installation of the Roadmaster Universal High Power Diode Wiring Kit, part number RM-154 on this 2017 Chevrolet Equinox.
Thanks for watching. Click the link in our description below to shop, learn more, or visit us at Etrailer.com, and leave a comment if you have any questions.